Hello there! Today we'll be playing a bit of Heroes Hour. Game newly released on Steam, that is beginning of March of 2022. As you can see, it is a pixel art game, which also happens to be an auto-battling take on the classic early 2000s game Heroes of Might and Magic 3. For those of you too young or having perhaps not heard of that original game, for which this is a sort of remix, if not very close remake, I'd say the best comparison would be a Total War Warhammer, in which there's a bit greater of an accent on adventure, city building, and RPG elements. So yeah, without further ado, let's jump right in. The game currently costs $15 US, and although you might look at the graphics and find that perhaps a bit much to ask, especially for a game that for the longest time was on itch.io, it does have tons of content, and that is before the Steam Workshop mods, which are sure to add a lot as this game has picked up steam and popularity. So as you can see, I've already got it set to hardcore. That is the difficulty I like to play on. The game can be quite exacting, so I'm going to try to give you my thoughts basically, as I try to play it as soundly and as economically in my choices as possible. So hopefully hopefully it's entertaining to watch, perhaps insightful, and at the very least, a relaxing adventure, at least for the viewer. So as you can see, I've gone random for everything. For all 6 of the AI factions, I love having as much of that diversity as possible, and of course for my faction, including all the leaders, of course. And I've taken a map that once again allows us to benefit from that great diversity, and also not have to fight too many naval battles, which I'm not necessarily the greatest fan of. I believe it's a combination of my not being very good at them for the time being. I only have a couple dozen hours in this game. And also, I do believe that naval battles are a bit skewed towards certain abilities, certain units that, well, aren't fairly distributed, in my opinion, throughout the factions, of which there are 11. So let's see who we come up with here as the map generates. Other differentiating factor between this game and the original Hearts of Iron, that is not at all the same game. Heroes of Might and Magic 3 is that the maps are always randomly generated, and here we go talking about factions that have an inherent advantage in the sea. No idea how we're supposed to get to this pond, unless this faction doesn't need to use boats to access water. It's my first time playing the Tide faction here, so we're gonna have a lovely time being able to hear my thought process as I discover the faction real time. First of all, loving the pixel art here, and I hope this is a unit we have access to. Let's look at our town upgrades. There you go, Vulcan Wings, so it is a unit we have access to. Our town upgrades, which is a randomly rolled skill tree that you can see sometimes has dependencies where you need to acquire a certain building before being able to upgrade the next, and what I see here is that Infirmary is not locked behind any other building, which is great. We'll want to get that early on, as we are playing a faction which will replenish its units, or at least mitigate losses through the use of an Infirmary. And as you can see in the little description here, it'll simply save a certain percentage of your units that die in battle, and that of course helps mitigate the gold cost and sometimes resource cost of building new units. Might as well explain your resources. They will come from different mines, certain buildings, which on a daily basis will furnish you a set amount of these resources. As you can see by the numbers, ore and wood are a bit more common. They're sort of building blocks of your cities. Mercury, crystal, and sulfur can do a bit more, are often useful for exotic high-level units. I believe the game calls them elite units. but you will get less of them, so they are to be used judgmatically. I'm a bit familiar with these units, despite having not played the faction, as you can often pick them up in sea battles. If you have a hero that has diplomacy, that is a skill that allows you to... a very, very strong skill, definitely a fun one to have, that allows you to recruit enemy units after a battle at a monetary cost. So, Infirmary will certainly be our build at the next turn, once we've built our level 1 building, allowing us to move on. Now, I wonder if Pearl Market would be useful in order to see if there are any pearls in the immediate vicinity, although it may also not be a bad idea to either upgrade our Cannoneers or Deckmates, and since I believe we are going to have many more Deckmates, that is 31 Cannoneers, that is what I believe I will upgrade. For a very small sum, that is. So there you go. And we get a unit that retreats, so perhaps that will save us a few deaths, although it may also run counter to our intentions in the long run. I definitely like battling a lot early on, and the battles can get quite tight. And if a lot of our units are retreating instead of fighting to the death, some of those very close battles might end up going in our opponent's favor. We start off with Chaos, and we do so because of our Pyromancy skill, so that's a bit unfortunate. It isn't the best of spells. It works much better if you have a group of melee units, and here we have a ranged unit, which is not a versatile unit, so he will not fight well in melee. However, early learning I do like to see. Sorcery could be nice if we have buckets of mana, which we do not. I've seen heroes start with up to 50 mana, so 20 ain't too great. However, regeneration is very useful. Elementalism is always very nice to have. Summoning and creation are both very good skills to keep our army replenished. Oh, and so is necromancy, for that matter, early on in the game. So as interesting as wisdom would also be, I do think we are going to rush here the left side of the tree. We're playing a casting character called Koplaka, so hopefully I won't massacre that name too much, although it is of course a fictional name. Here's the exit to the one portal that we can see, guarded by these lovely bipedal walrus. And on the map, that would be the other end of this portal, right here. So, there's our hero. I do not have a view on the enemy guarding this sulfur. I do have a view on the enemy guarding this ore mine and the obelisk. I think we'll go for the obelisk. It'll allow us to discover a treasure map that could lead to very useful treasure, often 2/3 of a set of items very early on, so we do want to know where that is. We don't want to be doing unnecessary backtracking, as movement points are absolutely essential in the early game. Really a determining factor to growth, to the early growth of your cities. We have not yet lost a unit, nor has one of our units fled, for that matter, so this is a flawless victory to start off. Chaos coming in handy, and allowing us to pick up what I believe will be our only skill from the right side for the time being, learning. So that is nice. That will help us get some increased experience early on, which is great. I like to level up my starter character, if you will, or my starter hero, as high as possible so that he can carry me through the first few fights against AIs, which you can imagine in hardcore difficulty grow quite strong quite quickly. And here is some extra XP too, bonafide by learning, so that is also great. Ours level 4 and better pyromancy, so I do believe we're going to invest an extra point here in learning. Pick up some stone, and that does it for turn 1. So what do we have here? We have Enclave, Pyre. I do not know yet who is next to us, although this looks like the land of the Lament faction. Pillar. I missed a couple here, but Arcane, Prussian Arcane, great name. And Violet Lament ain't half bad for a name either. There you go, although we don't have view on anyone really, the exception of what may be the Wild Tribe. I believe not. It's a bit too cold looking to be them. And yet we have not seen them. So that settles it. Let's pick up our Mercury and see if we can perhaps add to our army or pick up an infirmary. I believe it would be too greedy to simply add to our army. Instead, unless it would allow us, for instance, to take the sulfur mine, which it would not. So instead, I think I will simply go for the infirmary. I don't want to waste movement points going back up around, especially since this seems to be an ore quarry, and we already have a... We have already, if you will, salvaged or found around the map sufficient amount of ore to carry us through this early game. In fact, let's add to it here, do some extra exploring, and we find a learning stone, which will allow us to upgrade learning once again, and give us a satisfactory opening turn here, as we encounter an early barracks, which gives us an incentive really to pile on these initial resources. I would like an extra 2 stone here, as 27 stone is the point that allows you to essentially upgrade to level 3, one of those buildings that allow you to produce an insane amount of units in that first week where you upgrade it multiple times. It'll all be a lot clearer once I actually make it to the building. I'm basically just planning out loud at the time being, and since we don't need the infirmary this turn, and we will need to unlock Seaways for Center of Tide, which is going to give us money that I am not willing to wait on, let us produce said units that are spawned and bring them simply to our hero. They'll be able to move this turn and next turn. What do we have here? We have the tanks. Sea Stingers are indeed actually quite powerful tanks, but since we're not rocking that many ranged units, it doesn't strike me as too useful. On the other hand, these seem to be quite powerful DPS units. So I will go for the ferrymen. I have less experience with them, so hopefully this is not a mistake, but they do seem enticing to me. At least off their raw statistics, and that does it for turn 2. As we encounter our first roaming neutral hero here that are rocking estates, which is completely useless for it. Another skill completely useless for it. Basically, we're just going to have to watch out for Hex here as we encounter the what should be the opening Lament hero, as he was already level 2. All of this to say, yes, our first roaming neutral hero, so he's part of no faction, although he is rocking the units from the... I always say Swamp faction, but that is not what they are called. I believe it is Enclave? Anyways, the little reptilian faction right there. So, let us start off by picking up this obelisk. An argument can be made for the treasure chest and the ore before going to this building. I basically only want to capture this barracks before the end of week 1, so in fact, I will heed my own instructions, and would I be able to do both quarry and wood? Probably only if I do it in this order. So let us do exactly that, and remember to build the infirmary first, and move our units into the fray so we can facilitate this battle. You see it went from moderate to easy, and that we shall take. More Gorgons to be fighting, as we've now picked up Flame Strike from upgrading our Pyromancy skill, and we have a full 40 mana. Sure. And that was a lot of fun. Is there actually a reason for that to end up spawning us Flame Elementals? Or is that a byproduct of Pyromancy 2? Very interesting. It would seem to be an unwritten bonus of this skill. Well, that was quite useful. Once again, a flawless battle. I must say, I have very seldom started with 2 flawless battles, as here we were going to be unable to pick up the ore quarry anyways, so I'm going to move my way towards the treasure chest. That's the end of turn 3. As I was saying, I very rarely started off with 2 flawless victories in a hardcore game. So far, quite impressed with the Tide faction. Including their town artwork, which I find very nice. Certainly much nicer than the Swamp People, the Enclave faction. Just looks like a giant pixelated jungle. Ring of Balance, I have no need for either attack or defense, so let's pick up the crystal. Sadly, I would have liked for that to have been experience, but you can't win them all. So instead, I believe I will pick up the Blast Smithy. Get myself some more cannoneers and add them to my army as I go fight. The units from the Elf faction over here. Once again, don't quite know their exact name, but they're woodsy people. The Animas in particular can be quite annoying, as they have basically no health, but can one-shot any unit by simply lifting it up into the sky, which is not very fun, so I do want to eliminate as many of these as possible. And they do spawn flame sprites. Lovely. So we're definitely getting carried by our skills, our magical skills here early on, as we see our first unit retreat from battle. It's great, we didn't lose it. I'm fond of that. I will need to be level 9 and have better pyromancy, so as we're getting carried by our pyromancy skills, I'm tempted sorry for that, to enable this upgrade as early as possible. Wisdom is also interesting because it's a very powerful skill to be learning early on. We're level 5, so basically 6, 7, 8 for creation, and then 9 for learning 3, so I do believe I want to sink that extra point to pyromancy. And we get Comet Rain. Damaging friend and foe alike, that'll be very useful to take out further out ranged units that are pestering me from afar, as I don't really have any rushing units that can go flank them. So that's the end of turn 4. We're doing quite well halfway through level 5 at the end of day 4, as we now see our first earthen, interesting, the earthen faction indeed. Sort of dwarven faction, if you will, in this more northern biome. Starting to believe the Lament here, this would be their secondary hero. Perhaps they converted him into their secondary hero? Ah, there is their main hero, and indeed they are hard. So you can see we've done quite well, but so have the AIs. That is unsurprising at this difficulty. And let us pick up this sulfur mine, because combined with these 3 sulfur deposits, it should give us enough sulfur to perhaps upgrade to the final level of this barracks, and then we'll be able to claim that on the last day of the week, and essentially start off week 2 with huge amount of halberdiers here for our melee lines, and then hopefully a few ranged units to complement that. Although for the time being, until we get the sirens at least, this faction would appear to be a more melee focused one. Yes, even with its longer ranged units. So what is the play here leaning into week 2? We have 3 buildings remaining. Are we going to go back to town? Essentially, considering how close we are. Well, if we were to go back to town, now would be the time. This would also allow our town to upgrade for the first time, meaning our Day 6 building will surely be Center of Tide, and our Day 7 building will not be able to be Fort, unfortunately. So then it will probably be Architect, unless I'm in dire need of Marketplace, having miscalculated my purchases here at the barracks. So I've kind of talked myself here into Guild of Mages. What allowed me to pick up extra cannoneers, which would be incredibly helpful at the time being. Is that worth giving up Commercial Center in week 1? No. Resources are extremely valuable, especially on a map with so many AIs, because they will constantly be poaching your mines, which is not a fun feeling. What skills do we earn here? Fireball, Blessing, so we're really rocking up the pyromancy skills here, and a summoning skill. Not bad! It's also quite ironic to have so many pyromancy skills for an aquatic faction right off the bat, so I am liking that role-playing element right here, as we're now going to probably run out of turns to do our barracks play. Unless we get... I believe we will have just the requisite amount. We seem to be doing well compared to the Earthen faction. Same level here, level 5. Hopefully our neighbors Lament... Yeah, our neighbors Lament are themselves doing much better, but they are a very good early game faction, so I am not too scared to see that. An argument could be made to throw some atolls, throw in an atoll in order to pump out some sirens, add them to our army, and make this battle a little less challenging. But it's not worth foregoing an extra 500 gold, basically. So we are going to take on this battle here, and hopefully, sorry once again, take out these goblin guards using our pyromancy, which will leave us focusing on these golems over here and the stone watchers especially, which can be devastating. I don't believe it's worth spending a bit more mana here. Most of our damage was indeed done with Comet Strike. The only unfortunate aspect of using Comet Strike is that it ends up continuing to kill our units once they've made it to that region of the map. So that resulted in hefty losses for our deckmates there. Whenever a hero casts a spell, some elemental of the same element as the spell will be summoned, so that is why I'm getting elementals. That makes a lot more sense. Higher skill levels and spells that cost more mana give more elementals. Well, there goes one of the primary uses of Comet Rain there, so a bit of a double-edged sword. Nevertheless, regeneration is the easy pickup right here. Before we move, I must not forget to bring in a pittance of the deckmates we lost. I don't believe we lost any of our ranged units, which is great, as they are pretty much the only ones we own. And that would conclude our turn. Still allowing us, though, to pick up the barracks next turn with what is sure to be a considerable amount of sulfur. I don't believe we'll have the requisite amount for the final level, however. Nor will we have that amount for ore, so we will have to take that decision next turn. With regards to perhaps purchasing the marketplace, in order to do so, we have a substantial amount of gold to work with. I shall spare my brain the calculations for the time being, however, as we see lovely whale boy here eat our friendly portal. Don't quite know what the dwarves are doing. As you can see, they already seem to be rocking 3 heroes here, the Lament, including one that is already featured as impossible for us. And they also have a Dragon's Cave. Hopefully they die to the dragon, but they probably won't, considering how strong that hero is. So, with 18 movement points, can we do 1, 2, 3, all the way back here and down there? We pick up the camp? No, it's not worth a detour. 3. Yep, we can do so. Good. Okay, with our 9 points, we're spending 4 here to get to the barracks. And let us upgrade said barracks. I believe we're going to start off with interesting. I would like to start off with an upgrade to either of these resources, which I believe will be more sulfur over here. Wow. Tavern. Interesting. I believe the move is crystal. Would like to have 1 crystal left. Then an upgrade in wood. Then an upgrade in sulfur. And then unfortunately we are lacking for the time being the stone to complete this upgrade. However, we are still going to purchase a max amount of these units for the low cost of what is probably going to be 4,900. So it'll be about 2/3 of our money. Definitely worth it, however, because it will allow us to take out that crystal mine. And it would replenish anyways at the beginning of the next turn. That was more like half of our income, which is a fine compromise, and you can see here the battles have become challenging, whereas they were impossible. Would we instead want the tavern? Bear guard? Well, we don't yet have the other resources to do so, so I would like to stay close to this for the time being, so perhaps run through the tavern. No, we're going to do the crystal mine, as much as I would also like to pick up the camp. Yeah, no, crystal mine, this camp, and then back down to the barracks to get the level 5 upgrade. Speaking of upgrades, we can now purchase the Architect, which I don't believe will be an immediate upgrade to our town. It will, however, be $250, which is certainly worth it, and worth the unfortunate stone cost. Puts us a bit further away. Ooh, seaways. I'm definitely liking the art here. Definitely got a certain charm to it, despite its very chunky pixel nature. And that is the end of week 1, my friends. Our unit is level 6. When I'm a bit greedy, I like to say that, at least for the first week and a half, I like to keep my unit's level on par with the day count. We've lagged a bit behind, however we do have learning 2, and in a position to upgrade that skill to learning 3. So yeah, learning rank 2. So that will help us catch up a tad, as we can now upgrade our town, and I believe the upgrade it will prioritize will be... It's an interesting choice. There's definitely an argument to be made for tavern, but since we already own one on the map, I don't think it's that necessary. This costs stone. Unfortunately, I would like something that ideally does not cost stone, but everything seems to be costing stone, except the Blastsmithy. Well, we are at the beginning of a new week, so Blastsmithy would allow us to send our heroes some stronger cannoneers here, considering they are our only ranged unit. And I do not want to be spending too much money in order to recruit my extra halberdiers. I believe that is what I'm going to do, or at least that is what I talked myself into doing. Will I have the money to produce everything here? Not quite. So I'm going to go pick this up first, and now produce everything. Well, I'm going to go fight a battle. Actually, no, this battle in no way is going to give me money, so I'm going to go fight this battle, get the money from the camp, and then produce my final units. Let's do just that. A few ranged units over here, for which I'm not going to use that Comet Blast skill. I have indeed learnt my lesson, and will try to stay out of range of these units for as long as possible. So Flame Strike, considering the fact that it costs 8 less mana, is definitely a much more valuable spell. I believe the battle's really already won at this point. No reason to spend more mana, as we now reach level 7. Creation was what we were targeting at this level, and we now have enough money to complete a full build of our units. Sorry about that. Wow, must be the seasonal allergies. A full build of our units for week 1, as we're now going to slowly walk our hero back towards recruitment skill +1. Rabbit set, fire unlimited creatures. Rabbit set actually could be good for us. What is this building? A trading post. Wow, we might not even need to build a marketplace. That will allow us to rush a lot of late game units early on. Nevertheless, I believe we wanted to head towards the barracks here. We do not have the money to build all the halberdiers off the bat, so there's a strong argument for instead trying to get extra crystals. Today, I will take the game up on its argument. Or rather, the argument came from myself, based on the game's mechanics, which I will most certainly take up, and we have the mana to take out those dead eyes, so that should not be too difficult. Boom! Well, that was enjoyable. And now let our flame spirits wreak a bit of havoc. Worth using a fireball? I reckon it is. Well, 2 of the wolves have made it into their final form. Actually, make that 3, so that is a bit unfortunate. We are going to lose a lot more units than necessary due to them being extremely powerful when they reach that level. And sure, Shape Creations, I do not know why you'd ever not click this button. Anyways, it makes me quite happy to be able to do so. How many of our units use magical attacks? None. Upgrade requires better regeneration. Regeneration requires better conflux, so, well, we know what we're doing. At least for this level. We already knew what we were doing for level 9, and that was learning 3. As we are now back to equaling in levels our day count, so always like to see it. And just like that, day 1, week 2, in the books. I do not think we share a border with the Lament, or at least a crossable border with the Lament, which is excellent news considering what I've seen from their army so far. Meaning there's, looking at the roads, surely we are going to be sharing a border with whatever central faction is over here, and our neighbors to the right, or the east rather, if we really want to roleplay this game fully. I should have taken this unit out last turn. We would have gained a bit of movement out of it. No worries. It is not that great of a loss. We are very short on money. So perhaps we do pick up this camp and then fight these enemies if possible. 13, it would allow us enough movement to then pick up coins. 8, and we can still do so. And this is an unguarded cartographer, which is absolutely wonderful and game-changing for a map such as this, because we basically then gain eyesight on the entire map. Lovely. Wow, I was not expecting that. This is a great opening region. Plus, our capital is really secluded there at the edge of the map, so we won't have to worry about any raids from the Orc faction, Horde faction that is, early on, cutting our whole source of income and basically decapitating any hopes at us winning the game. So I'm talking a lot here, basically because I can't build my Palace of Tide yet, so we are cornered into having to take this hard battle. Hopefully my 20 mana can carry us. I don't have any itching desire to take on these zombies. Instead, I will just throw everything at the life banes. Got 13 unupgraded cannoneers here, so it could turn them into blast masters. So here's an interesting opening choice. Do we take out the ranged units, or do we take out, or at least take momentarily out of battle, his charging units? I believe this is a much better argument, because then our elementals can flank. We've already encircled the enemy units over here. And there you go, our blessing allowed us to not take too many casualties to his elite units, Life Banes, that was, and shape some more creations. So overall, this has been a lovely turn, leading to another learning stone, which might bring us, including the battle, all the way up to level 10. So I like to see it. We're a smidgen away from level 9 as we pick up the rabbit's cap. Allows us to look, or rabbit's kilt rather. Interesting. And there you go, recruitment, weekly growth. Arrived a little late. Would have liked to have had that on week 1. Nevertheless, I don't believe we would have had the money to profit from it. Speaking of having the money, hopefully we can pick up these halberdiers at some point. So we're making good progress. We're clearing out large sections of our opening map. We still do not have a second hero, however. I don't think it would be advantageous to spend money on that second hero just yet. Our map is made in such a way that it does not take too long for us to send heroes, or rather reinforcements, to our main hero. Although it now seems to be taking 3 or 4 turns, so I might have to revise that statement. However, this turn plays itself, unless there is make a fleet on a coastline nearby. Ah, now this is how we get into this little pool. Lovely. Not that useful, actually. I probably want the atoll. Yeah, I don't see why I wouldn't pick up the atoll at this point. Oh wait, make any Tide faction hero out at sea instantly teleport the gates of this town. Okay, not useful just yet. I won't spend the magic though, the money rather. I'll want to see what I pick up in that treasure chest. What's our mana looking like? I can't quite see it for the time being. I should have checked before the battle. What is this? Empower. Ooh, lovely! So we're getting an extra 1 spell power from those units at this point in time. Great. 2 flame strikes? Yeah, I'll take that. And our next flame strike is probably going to target the minstrels. This is probably going to be our closest battle yet. Flame strike can't arrive any sooner, really. Thank you. Those animas are an absolute pain. However, our cannoneers, and even more so our blastmasters, simply carrying it for us. And there you go, some shape creations giving us a power 8 unit. Definitely allowing us to keep fighting here, that is for certain, as we can now pick up Regeneration 2, which will be incredibly helpful to replenish our 50 mana. Do I want the crystal or the gold? I believe this is a rare occasion where I take the gold in one of these scenarios. Now Learning Stone brings us to level 10, allowing us to have shape creations too, so I like what I see. And an extra treasure chest this turn? Sure. We don't have access to a mercury mine? I don't... Oh, we do. 5 mercury or Ring of Celerity. Ring of Celerity isn't amazing enough for me to actually take it over 5 mercury. We're missing 2 shards. One of them I can not even yet see, so interesting. There's our barrier with an unknown faction. That might be the wild faction right there. So let's move towards the cartographer. There's an argument to be made for upgrading it right now, depending on how expensive the building we want to build is. Yeah, we're a bit short. We're not going to upgrade it right now. It's probably going to be an upgrade next turn. It costs crystals. Lovely. Lovely to have that crystal mine up and going early on then. I will want to build those sirens as we're running quite short on units. If we want to keep up our constant battling, constant upgrading, we will need those reinforcements. So that is day 3, week 2, ladies and gentlemen. I'll try to spy here what faction we have at our south. Pillar, perhaps? Yeah, that could very well be a pillar faction. So this is wild. Who can say? Haven't seen the Lament. And only 2 portals discovered so far. So that's nice. Sometimes you have 4 and you can really get raided from all sides. Let's see, is there a cheap building we can build here just to justify activating the cartographer as we're right next to it? Well, there is our pearl market. I'm assuming the pearls will appear a bit like the hunt skill for the Enclave faction, the reptile faction. Here you go, we can activate our cartographer, and boom! The whole map, except anything we actually care about, is visible. Wow, I've never seen a map have so few roads. Huh. This is the central section that no one has access to, so it would be absolutely lovely to go poach everything in there as quickly as possible. Decay faction, I'm thinking. Oh, interesting. It's still worth it. Still definitely worth it, especially since it shows us that shows us pretty much what's in the middle of the map. There's some stuff that can be accessed without any fighting. Lost Hero, Camp, and Sigil Stone, which I would like to get to, especially that Sigil Stone. And this major shrine too. But only a Shrine of Beasts to be put on lockdown. Interesting. I wonder where this portal leads. I mean, someone has direct access to it. Huh. Okay, so there's all our money. We could unlock the tavern. Sure. Or we could unlock and upgrade the guard post. I would like to make my way to at least this hero for a bit of money. Perhaps a good artifact. So I will take these guys on. Shouldn't be too much difficulty from the fact that I can absolutely dismantle that flame juggler with my skills. Oops, sorry. Case in point. Actually, case in point. That skill's really entertaining. There go some deckmates, some Ether Kings, but hey. Overall, net victory. So I will take that. We could even still make our way to the guard post. I do not want to make my way to said guard post. 6 mana to fight this guy is not great, as we still have not found the last shard of obelisk. But replenishing our deckmates a bit, well, that is great. Battle's now moderate, and I believe I have enough for one of my flame strikes, and that should be sufficient. Oh, I do not. I do have enough for one fireball, though. I don't know how one of our elementals here became a giant. Seems to be a little mistake from the AI there, using his skills. We've taken out most of his ranged units. We're really getting carried by our elementals right now. I'd love for you to take out this guy, please. It's very low on health. There you go. So now that no other skills will be used, our Blastmasters and Cannoneers can carry us to victory. This was a little closer than I would have liked for comfort, but that gold is more than worth it. And a ruby band is absolutely lovely. Good thing I didn't pick up that other band at the expense of 5 mercury. Absolutely lovely for a basic trinket. Yeah, you'll rarely hear me say something like that, but I do like that 8 spell power. And ooh, I'd like to get that knowledge up, especially as I'm rocking 2 mana. So that is the end of turn 4, week 2. As we get to see our southern neighbors. How you doing? Oh, not too strongly. We don't have an army currently, which is why they all appear gargantuan to us, but in reality they're a lot less menacing than they seem. They seem to have discovered their treasure chest over there. Where the heck is that last obelisk shard? Well, that's it. You guard the mercury. Ah, that is where our pearl is, I would assume. Wait. They can sense nearby pearls at the start of every turn or if they get close. Okay. I mean, it was... Oh, are the pearls buried in the water? That would make a lot of sense considering they are pearls. on land, so I don't know how the oyster made its way there, but hey, we won't question it. 35, I need 40 stone for that really to be of any interest. 12 mercury. Okay, first of all, let's see what we're building. Oh, that's actually quite lovely. This would give us a free pearl. And pearls can be exchanged at the pearl market for upgrades. I assume this is said pearl market. Ooh. Is this a pearl market? Be right back. And we're back. So I was wondering about the pearl markets. Okay, so basically this just serves as a free pearl. Oh, allows trading pearl for growth upgrades. No, oh, okay, so they basically allow the same thing. This simply increases the range of pearl detection and gives a single pearl. Huh. Interesting. What do I want more of? Probably the Vulcan wings, ultimately. Although I am liking these Blastmasters for their cost. Also the Siren. It's not too bad. I do know the Kanseri to be extremely strong units. We'll wait on it a bit, but at the present, I mean, I guess I'm happy to have gotten that upgrade. Anyways, it gives us the money necessary to pick up our halberdiers, which might allow us to take out that second roaming neutral faction. Hard. 12 mana? 8 movement? This is an extremely gutsy move, and it's probably unnecessary. But I will make it. Just for the action economy of not having to chase him down. Sultan and War Magi must die. Really gonna rely on those halberdiers to defend the front line. Okay, so we can do a flame strike and a fireball. If I'm gonna do a fireball, I want to do it as early as possible. And I can now take flame strike, kill their leader, which will help prevent casting. We still have 2 casters, fortunately, plus a cloned version of this. Some elementals. Ooh, god. This does not bode well, unless we can somehow kill the leader again. Okay. Aw, oh, darn, we lost one of these guys. Unfortunately, we did not take out these casters, and it cost us pretty much our entire army. Okay, however, I do think we leveled up from that. So not all is lost. We waited a long time to pick up this learning. Is it still worth it, really? Well, we did upgrade Pyromancy for it, so I mean... I will take the unit upgrade. He certainly grows weaker from it. We'll be able to accumulate a bit of money out of it. So sure, and we'll be able to see if there's some pearls around here. Yeah, it's not all bad. It's not all bad. I do not like losing battles, but I think our start was so strong that it mitigates the effect. As long as we don't get raided at the same time, that would be a bit of an unfortunate double whammy. So basically, our hero is going to be exiting the town by the beginning of week 3 with a fresh crop of units. It will give us an opportunity to build up our archives and other buildings which focus on giving our hero some skills. This also gives him knowledge, so yeah, I'll be taking the Archive of Magic. That will upgrade our town, and then he'll also be able to pick up the Archmage Tribunal. 2 spell power? Or extra cannoneers? Probably the spell power. Although, probably the spell power. Because we're really getting carried by our spell. But it's not knowledge, that's the thing. Will we even have the money to profit from extra cannoneers? I don't think so. We don't have that many buildings which increase money. What do we pick up? Rampaging Fire, Town Portal, Inferno. Okay. Sure. Sure. As long as we get some mana. And yeah, that turn pretty much played itself. Just accumulate units. He's back to being hard, so we can really rush him. The move will probably be rushing him, then picking up the guard post, visiting the tavern on week 3. Hopefully the tavern heroes scale. I think they do. Then getting that last obelisk shard on week 3. Not great. Okay. Perhaps upgrading the barracks along the way. Good. Well, that was a very short turn, and we're now entering the final turn of week 2, as these guys are remaining impossibly, to use the game's words, close. This here, would they be able to take it out? Yes, they would. Okay, so we're gonna have to pay very close attention to the enclave around here. It's moved really in the direction we want it to go. Nice. So there is a pearl around here. We're 6 sulfur away from the Archmage Tribunal. Anyways, it was going to be the Empire of Tide, but a bit sad. Let's just move. I wonder where that pearl is. There it was. Lovely. So we have 3 pearls to work with at the end of the week. And what will we sink those points into? Does he have mastery of any sorts? He has no mastery, so there really isn't any reason to take one unit over another. immediately get access to hiring the extra units. Okay, I might actually do that for our Kankari. Good. Okay, we found the pearl. That is always a jolly event. And then we'll just max out our movement and then recruit the units coming over from the beginning of week 3. So things worked out in the end. So you see, folks, never give up, even if you kind of misplay a battle out of greed. Happens to even the best of us. That is the end of week 2. Beginning of week 3. So I decided to put a cut in between week 2 and week 3. Oh, as we have now gained an inkling as to the direction of the next pearl. We don't really need the pearl this soon, so I will prioritize taking out the errant hero. Made its way all the way over here now. So basically, first 2 weeks we had a great week 1. Week 2, bit of a money crunch, and we got over it by simply dying to this guy. We will now gladly not die to again by killing him. So, what's the move here? Probably an upgraded atoll, although we are very low on sulfur. Let's see, I think the move first of all is on maxing out our units. Oh no, wait. The move is clearly on building the thermal pools. Yes. Taking Kankari. Spending all our pearls on the Kankari. And maxing out the creation. Well, some of those pearls were frivolous, but... Oh, it would appear a slow unit has their sloth effect them on the overworld map too. We don't have the money to really do anything except take these guys on. I wonder if it would be worth... Oh, there was the pearl. Oh, the treasure! I did not know you could pick up the treasure without taking all the obelisk shards, and yet I've played about 24 hours in this game. We get another... Are we gonna finish the rabbit set? Are you kidding me? That is insane. Oh, well, this game is now turned on a dime as long as we don't get wiped out by the Enclave in the couple of next turns. We should be golden. Don't quote me on that, but things are looking up. Is it still actually worth going for the pearl at that point? Because we basically just have endless pearls. The rabbit set basically just... Oh, as we see our first invasion here. And it is not of the central map. The rabbit set basically does the same thing as our pearls do. Yeah, the pearl's down here. We don't have a choice. Well, let's complete this rabbit set. And as you can see, it's the first time I complete a set. Okay, what's the play here? The play will surely be, since we're so close to town, to build the Archmage Tribunal, go back in town, pick it up. First off, we're going to build these 2 Kankari. So we have a full set. but we cannot hire additional Kankari. Oh, it only applies if you have the mercenary hall. Interesting. Very interesting. We're lacking a smidge of gold here to upgrade our Kankari. How will we pick up that gold? By waiting a turn? That isn't awfully exciting. I guess by getting our pearl. Oh, come on. Finally! There's a pearl, and y'all know we'll be sinking that into our Capin Seri. Good thing we had a lot of stone to begin with. We might want to start thinking about picking up a second hero here. Okay, well this turn was rather short. We haven't been fighting for a long time. Really are short on money, but we have a shape creation skill which allows us to profit greatly. Oh, as there's now a reverse invasion going on. Interesting. Profit greatly from fighting battles, so we're going to have to start finding some easy battles here. Speaking of easy battles, can we make it to you? No. Well, then I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull the old switcheroo. Unfortunately, unit spawn south. Really? Are you kidding me? Okay. Well, we are going to pull said old switcheroo, build the Archmage Tribunal, bring our guy back to town, upgrade our Kankari, Don Corleone, Cabin care. So we have 3 more to upgrade. Gosh, this costs money. $2,900 for a single one. They are worth it though, trust me. Look at that health. Sorry, look at that health. Yeah, impenetrable. Absolutely lovely. What do we pick up? Huh, interesting. All the rest we already had. Is that all we picked up? Sworn we picked up a regeneration skill. Lightning bolt, perhaps? Okay. Wait. Huh. Okay. The obelisk battle respawned? Yes, please. Free moolah? Take that any day of the week. Yeah, you have fun trying to ram into these beastie boys over here. And we've finally regened our full mana, so lovely. Oh my god, that lucky strike, that crit on our Kankari. Well, they can carry. That we know. Plunder would be a lovely skill to have right now. They're both out of movement. These guys are going to go get themselves upgraded next turn, which will probably cost us all our money. And then we're going to return with 5 Cancanary, take out these final dwellings. Will we be able to do it by the end of week 3? Probably. Probably. We're lagging a bit behind, but can be overcome. Hopefully we'll have some money to pick up some units from these buildings and from the tavern. And that is turn. How the heck did that become a boat in the middle of a grasslands? Interesting graphical glitch there. Or feature? Who knows? They came closer to us, thank you very much. You don't have any more pearls. Okay. 6 Cancanary here. And this is apparently still impossible. Gotta love it. Pick up some sirens. Charm's actually quite nice. These portals are still impossible, however we can take out the port here. So it'll be important to make sure our Cancanary tank the charges here. We'll use these guys to flank. Our Cancanaries will be supported in the back by our ranged units, and you'll just kind of stay out of issues. That undid some of our planning. There you go. No Cancanary lost. We can shape some creations here. Bars level 15 and better pyromancy, not yet. Necromancy is probably what I'm going to go for. Bars level 13. Yeah, this is a necromancy right here. There we go, so that's a victory. This man is still easy, so we do not have anything in the infirmary, however, we cannot even create a single unit there. Okay. We'll just move towards our next battle. End turn. They moved away, but not too far away. I'm probably going to want to start picking up the defense buildings here in case we get raided, which should happen any time now. For that I will need sulfur and I will need mercury. We do not have a sulfur mine. We do. Okay, so basically it's just the mercury I want to pick up. We can't quite make it to the town. However, we could throw halberdiers down. $70. 1,100. What are we building? I'd really like to build the tavern, but I can't, and I don't want to build marketplace just for that. So I guess it's an upgraded seaways. Or the Charon's cultists, or jelly killers. Argument to be made for the jelly killers, and I think I will take that argument. Could build max jelly killers, which I think I will do, unless I want to build max sirens. There you go. That will help us next turn reinforce. This hero's got painfully slow movement, however, his magic is quite strong, and he has enough mana to make me confident that we'd have a chance fighting any enemy hero. Ooh, wait a second. The Enclave seems to have used a portal to, oh my god, capture the Pillar faction's home. That could lead to extremely pesky neighbors. Luckily, we seem to be being spared by most of our neighbors. At the present, let's release the skilled hero instead of accessing the tavern, actually. Hello there, Ochre! Well, this is a shame. We're going to lose our capital to a portal invasion when our hero is at the other end of the world. When you're at sea. Can you go at sea? No, you cannot. Interesting. Well, this is certainly something. I guess Temple of Tides? Okay, so it would be like Temple of Tides, create fleet, Temple of Tides, summon. I'd already moved this guy, unfortunately. And camp. Hopefully this does the trick. I would have really liked to have moved these units back. That was a bit of an oversight on my part. So let's hope we survive the oncoming battle. Cool looking guy though, gotta give him that. Doesn't have too much ranged. Does have long-ranged units though, which is a pain. So we're just going to kind of keep everything in the back. I did not know that even elite creatures could be lift up and actually one hit by non-elite bird creatures. That to me is a bit of a problem with the game's balance, but hey, that at the very end of week 3 concludes an ultimately fruitless, sadly, attempt at a hardcore playthrough of the Patience map. We did display Patience, although perhaps a bit too much of it. It was an entertaining final battle, however. That 16 mana was, in my opinion, still put to good use. So hey, hope you enjoyed this. If you did, as always, don't hesitate to like, subscribe. I mean, you know the drill. Really just do what makes your day, and hope I gave a bit of entertainment to said day. Have a good one. Tiki out.